First thing I'd like to say is, after seeing the response that Eric got when he was given his award, when I leave here, the first thing I'm going to do is change my name to Eric Levine as well. I really don't know how long I've been a part or a member of Alternatives, but I do remember the first day I joined. Becky Holly was working at the time, yeah, and my ex-wife had been part of Business Sense, or MoneyWise, had been part of MoneyWise, and she said, Kenny, we're going to put our money in this bank. You need to go down and get an account. So as I was walking down the street, I looked and there was a lady outside the bank hula hooping. Just actively hula hooping. And I thought that was fairly odd. So when I walked into Alternatives, I was greeted at the front desk, and the first thing I said was, hey, do you know it's some weird lady out there hula hooping on your property? You might want to have to call and have somebody take care of that. And they said, no, we think she works here. And I happened to be on the phone video chatting with one of my friends in North Carolina. And I was telling her, yes, I'm coming down to this bank to open up an account. And I just explained to her about the incident with the hula hoopist outside. And we were walking, I was walking in and I was standing looking in the lobby. And I think at that month, you happen to have an African art exhibit on fertility. Yeah, so it was a lot of masks and African artwork with big bellies and exposed breasts. Yeah. And I'm showing her all of this on my screen, on the phone. And then they call me and we go in the office to open my account. And who am I sitting down with but the hula hoopist from outside. And I'm videoing all the things in the office. And Becky steps out for a minute. And my friend says, Kenny, take your money and leave right now. Said, go find a real bank. Find a real bank. And I laughed and I thought about it. And I said, you know what? What's really interesting is everybody at this institution reminds me of me or looks like me. And it felt like a place that I could call home. And I felt comfortable. And I think that's really been important for me as in my journey as a member of the Alternatives family and community. You know, when Eric asked me to do this speech, I looked at him and I said, yeah, Eric, I'm a comedian. Generally, people don't like funny and money like going together. You know, generally when you hear those things in a sentence, it's things such as, hey man, don't be funny about my money. And there better not be nothing funny with this money. Or, that's not funny, that was all my money. But Eric just sort of smiled, and then he pushed his glasses up, and he said, you know, Kenneth, you're a member of Alternatives, you're a member of our community. And I was like, well, yeah, and I'm a board member as well. And he said, yeah, but what's more important to us here is you're a member of the community and you're a member of our family. And we want this to be a celebration of the credit union, a celebration of what we do and our impact on the community. And we also want to do something fun because we're alternatives. So I said, hey, I'll give it my best. But as I thought about what I was going to say, alternatives just kept coming in my mind. Alternatives, alternatives. And I like the irony of it. The irony of alternatives as being our name. You know, it's much more than a name. It seems though it's a philosophy. It permeates what we do. What does the name alternative really mean when it relates to us? How does it communicate who we are, our values? It just seems ironic that usually when you think of alternative, it's because people don't want the conventional option. As I thought more about it and prepared for this opportunity, it struck me that this is really a way that we in this credit union are stepping away from the conventional and creating a preferred option, the best option, by being the alternative. In life, alternatives are usually presented as the option you don't want. Like you want to move to Seattle, but you end up in Ithaca instead. You apply for Yale, but you only get Cornell. You hope for Kevin Hart, but then you get Kenneth McLaurin. But with the credit union and us, what we do is something different. We come to banking with an alternative approach, a community approach, where banking and education and opportunity come together and form a unique space that breaks down the traditional barriers we find in financial institutions and banking. We create economic independence for individuals and growth in our community. That is the alternative approach that we present. Our alternative approach invests in our people and our community. When we talk about community investment here at Alternatives, it does not look like high-rise apartment buildings on the commons, nor does it look like expensive townhouses. What it does look like is an investment in the people we live with, in the community we live in, and the people we work with. You know, as Allison spoke and we look on the report, you'll hear and read things that talk about we have 35 first new home accounts, and we've created 23 more IDAs for homes, and 13 more IDAs for assets. And we have helped businesses over 300 times with different interactions, and this is great. These are all amazing things. And it sounds very good in an annual report and on paper. But what it means to me when I hear those things, as I look and work with you, it really means that we have helped 35 people and families realize their goal of home ownership. It's 13 more families who've decided to take the first step towards creating the assets and legacies they can leave for their next generation. As we work to create generational wealth for our members, it is our dreams that we are helping them with. It's the overtime, it's the extra jobs, it's the sacrifices that they've made. This is what I see when I read and look at those statistics in our report. And I enjoy the fact that we are a part of that. One of the things that makes us different at Alternatives is that we don't see accounts coming through the door. We see people. We see the future of our community. We see the hopes and the dreams that they carry. And we see the opportunity to work with them and walk with them as they achieve that. This is an alternative narrative, an alternative story, and an alternative approach to banking. It's a down-to-earth approach to banking that is designed with caring and understanding about people and the real-life issues that affect them. You know, That's the things that really strike me about alternatives. You know, we do several things. One is reaching out to diverse and traditionally marginalized communities. You know, in 2018, traditionally marginalized communities have more access to financial services, but this certainly hasn't always been the case. In fact, access to financial services such as credit remains out of reach for many people in our operating footprint. The reasons that contribute to this inadequacy of financial services for large portions of our community are complex and vary greatly. Some often lose access to financial services because they have insufficient collateral. Some live too far from financial services providers. Some cannot utilize digital or other payment services, and others are restricted by culture. Some have also had bad experience with financial institutions before. We aim to help these people. We help people meet their financial services needs through providing financial literacy programs such as Money Sense and Mad City Money. We facilitate access to credit for personal and business purposes with great products such as our back-on-track loans and credit builder programs. I also want to say one thing about our commitment to diversity here at Alternatives, or what I've seen as a commitment to diversity here as Alternatives. It's really exciting to see people from all economic levels, as well as people of color and women represented on the board of this credit union. I appreciate the effort that Alternatives has undergone to recruit, train, and retain a diverse representative group to serve on our board. It's important for us as a credit union to really remain in touch with our members and the people we're trying to serve. We need to keep true to our mission of service, and direct representation from all people is really fundamental to that task. I congratulate all of you in AFCU on its commitment to ensuring that traditionally voiceless have a voice to speak. And I encourage and hope we continue in this manner and invite more diversity into the boardroom. It is the right thing to do. As I look around the room, it's really very encouraging to see the people who are making the outstanding contributions to the work of the credit union. I want to take the opportunity today as a member and as a board member to thank all of you for your ongoing support to expand economic opportunities for everyone, and especially for the marginalized communities in our community, for the marginalized people in our community. I'm about to close this off, and I know everybody here or all the staff really just want to know one thing, like, what's the top 10? Who are going to get the movie pass? Who are going to get the movie pass? One of the things that we asked is for a top 10 list of top 10 reasons why people love working and banking with Alternatives. And I want to get into that, but before I do that, I want to share that one of the sentiments that I got from all the responses of staff was that Alternative is a great place because it's made up of normal or regular people. And I understand that sentiment. However, I think that there's a caveat. You are all not normal or regular people. You are all special and unique. Really for making the choice to not just be part of a credit union, but to be part of a credit union with a unique and special culture that prides itself on doing things differently. You chose to be here not because you wanted to be part of a culture that values people over profit. You chose to be here because you wanted to be part of a culture that values people over profit, that values community over corporate. You've chosen to show that the value that the alternative approach to banking we embrace is the values that you want to promote as well. I want to thank you all for helping alternatives be a place that supports the economic freedom and dignity of everyone. Now to the top 10 list. I wish we had some music. All right, so drum roll or okay, I'm not gonna keep you doing that because it was supposed to be top 10, but I got so many really good suggestions. It's like maybe a top 18. Okay, the first reason why people should bank at alternatives is because you can bank in your pajamas. Apparently half the staff already look like they're in their pajamas as well. You know, thinking back to my experiences, I can say I thought that the pajamas thing was one of the ways that alternatives was trying to reduce the opportunity and the threats of a bank robbery. Like if robbers came in, they'd look around and just be confused and be like, oh my God, is this Green Star? And they'd order some kale chips instead. And they walk in, oh my goodness, it's a sleepover. And they just go to sleep. Another cool thing about alternatives is depending on the month, once you walk in the lobby, you might not have any idea of where you are. You might think you're in an African village, or an art gallery, or the lake. The lake. Oh, next great reason why to work in alternatives, free toilet paper in the bathroom. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, after Eric read that one, there is no more of that. No more free toilet paper in the bathroom. And the next one was free hugs. Great reason to work at alternatives was free hugs. And HR told me to tell you that, unfortunately, no more of that either. Another reason why it's great to work at alternatives or to bank at alternatives, it's because dogs get free biscuits when they come through the drive-thru. I actually would think that if there was a dog coming through the drive-thru with a car, you could get something a little more impressive than a biscuit. Maybe an interview, maybe a job. It's an amazing dog driving that car. Actually, I didn't know that. I was like, I wish I would have known that. I would have come through with more dogs. I love biscuits. What do you have to come through to get gravy with that? A dog and a cat, so you can get biscuits and gravy. I think that's great. I would like to add, anytime that there is a dog coming through the drive-thru in a car, please ask them where they got their car loan from. Might be an opportunity to reach out to another underserved community.
Give them pajamas.
Somebody wrote, alternatives is a great place to bank because you have real people making real change. And I agree, because robots making real change is sort of scary. And then real people making robot change doesn't sound like it'll work because I don't know any place you can spend that. almost like Ithaca hours. I love this one. This is about working at alternatives or even banking. I think if you have a problem, calling corporate is really easy. You just gotta shout Eric very loud. Eric! All right, this one I didn't change at all, and it might be my favorite. Great reason to bank at alternatives. You can walk into any alternatives branch and get a request filled. Need a car? 125th North Fulton Street. Need a mortgage? 125 North Fulton Street. Need to talk to Brendan? 125 North Fulton Street. Everything is located at the branches. I think that's hilarious. And then the next thing, great reasons to bank at alternatives was Eric. It was just one word, Eric. Oh, no, but they spelled it E-R-I-K, so it's not that guy. And then the next one was Carol, and Carol. Which they said sounds like a great Christmas loan product. Also, great reason to bank at alternatives is the kids' play area, which is currently 5 times larger than the kids' play area on the Commons. And another great reason to bank at alternatives is because we have banking nerds who are able to turn common banking phrases into something very unintelligible. Like, we offer remote deposit capture. What is that? I have no idea. I'm really wondering, what is that? Can somebody explain that to me? What is remote deposit capture? Take a picture of your phone, exactly. Yes. All right, and depository ATMs give immediate availability of cash. Yeah, me too. I'm like, I have no idea. Oh, and the next one, great reason to bank at alternatives. Where else can you bank where there is a little more than a century of work put in by just 4 staff? Gringotts. Yes, the bank in Harry Potter. Gringotts, yes. I bet you folks didn't know that they're a community development credit union as well. Little known fact. Harry Potter fact. I should have erased this one, but we don't have to do it. The AFC initials really go well for a song and dance. I do my banking at AFCU. I do my banking at AFCU. Well, y'all got to laugh. Well, I actually did that dance. That's terrible. Oh, the next one is, we don't put on fancy clothes and you don't either. And yes, apparently it just needs to be pajamas. And this was actually another one of my favorite. It is a great place to bank for people with Tinge Chenge phobia. Oh, that is people who are scared of parking lots. Yes, if you are scared of parking lots, and parking alternatives is the best place for you. And also, one of the things I like here, it's a great place to bank if your car only makes left turns. And a great place to get a loan to get the car fixed so it can start making right turns. Thank you very much.